Scoundrels web series and podcast is filmed and recorded in their ship, the Centurion Vulture, and may contain language not suitable for all. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to Scoundrels, y'all. We are broadcasting from the Centurion Vulture. I am CG.
I'm Paul Bannister.
Curtis Wayne Miller, standing by.
We are three grown-ass men gathered as always to discuss Star Wars. Did you see how I said discuss properly this week?
Yeah, you did
I just
it.
want
Nailed
to
it.
say for the record.
I think that's 2 weeks in a row you killed it.
Was it?
Discussion.
I know I had 2 weeks in a row, then I shit the bed on it.
Yeah, but
Anyway.
2 for 2.
Episode 11, Andor. What's it called? Do we know what the episode was called?
Daughter of
Daughters of
Ferrix.
Ferrix. Yeah.
What's that fucking mean?
Daughter of Ferrix. Well, the Daughters of Ferrix, I think, are like the...
Oh, those birds.
Yeah, the
those
bird. Well,
that
they
fly
wanted.
in
They
and make
remember
people
they
the brick.
asked if don't they have the Daughters of Ferrix have space for her and like they
Oh,
keep
that's
trying to
right.
get her to
That's
move
right.
there and she doesn't want to move. She's
That's
like,
right.
fuck
That's
no.
right.
But Daughter of Ferrix is the title of the episode. Yeah.
Amazing episode.
It is good.
We'll
I liked it, yeah.
Try to not just start every episode going off about how much. If you haven't noticed, we really love this show. Yeah. It's really good.
Yeah.
We're very stoked. Everything continues to be great in all the ways we've talked about before, so we can focus a little more on just plot points.
6 thumbs up.
Yeah, short version, fucking Andor rules. Anyway, great episode. First note for me, how do they make you feel so much for these fucking droids?
Oh man, I've never
They're
felt
like
so
the
much.
most emotional characters in the shows.
I've
Like,
never seen
Right.
better lighting on. I wrote that down on a drone.
Gorgeous.
B2 emos and the sun just you can see.
Yes,
Like,
that
have you ever
poor
seen better
fucking
lighting?
Bastard.
I have. What do you call it? What's that type of mourning when you lose someone?
Just grief.
Grief. I empathize. I'm like feeling grief through the droid.
That
I
droid
know.
is the
We all
best
are.
droid. I think it's my favorite droid in Star Wars.
Well, also think about how little screen time there's actually been
Yeah.
in this whole series for that droid compared to BB-8 and R2, and the
Yeah.
fact that it's that impactful.
He's
with
cuter than
what,
R2.
Yeah.
Has
Maybe
a
20 minutes of total screen time in the whole
Maybe.
season.
the whole
maybe.
series, yeah.
But yeah,
Dude, that dude got me from the first.
Yeah.
totally.
The stutter, the sled stutter.
Genevieve watched it like an hour before I did, and she was in. Because she was like, okay, I'm starting it now. And within the first 5 minutes, I got a text with just all caps, emotions, which means she's
man.
bawling
Yeah.
her eyes out already.
And his name is Emo.
B2 emo.
Yeah.
Or just like when the guy comes in, it's like, all right, come with me. He's like, I can't. He's like, you've been charging all day. It's just so depressed. And as soon as like B2's like,
Totally.
why don't you stay here? He's like,
Give
one
that-
night. He's like, boop, all right.
He's like a dog.
It's like a totally, yeah.
I
It's just
know.
like,
Well, that's the thing. I think they're like pets.
yeah.
And we joke that it reminds us of our cockatoo, Georgia. And the droids
yeah.
really do remind us of a parrot. But I think the point is, whatever animal you're closest to, the droids represent
Yeah.
that level of kinship.
Yeah.
Where the relationships are sort of less complicated than a human relationship. They just love you and they're loyal. And
They do
full
love you.
stop.
Yeah, these
That's
dogs-
kinda
Well, I
it.
mean, yeah, it's a good point because you look at like Imperial droids, it's like they're treated like guard dogs, and
Yeah.
it's like you're just doing your job. This is you guard this,
Yeah.
you look for this is your job. And when it's more like, sympathetic characters,
Yep.
you got more sympathetic towards the droids, and then therefore they're more emotionally connected.
And I love R2 and he's great, but the cool thing about Emo is he speaks the English or whatever.
Yeah.
And that helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good point. I didn't think about it like that.
Not many
right.
protocol
Like he's
droids.
just as cute as R2, probably
What do you
cuter.
know? Now he's not a protocol droid.
Probably
What am I
cuter than
thinking?
R2.
Yeah.
And he speaks
Totally.
he speaks real languages, and
Yeah.
it's like got a cute stutter. He's got a great voice, and he's like, since the technology's moved along, he can move in ways that kind of
Yeah.
like emulates just sort of like they can get a performance
Right.
out of him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Goddamn.
I'm not convinced that they're not going to use B2 Emo's innards for the droid because I kind of cheated a little bit. I went
for the one that pops
for
up in Rogue One.
because
But that Rogue One guy is full of piss and vinegar.
yeah. Well, I went back. I watched clips of that because I was like, maybe
I
I'm
like
still
that
not
droid
convinced.
too, dude. That dude was good.
He was awesome. I
it's-
watched clips of that droid
Yeah.
and I was like, they got similar like Like when he grabs her by the thing, it's like and throws her down. It's like congratulations, you're being rescued. Like they've kind of got the same cadence and like dark humor, and it's like
I'd be game for it.
But
I
I don't
hope that
know. It
droid
might not
shows
be.
up in season 2. It's such a great addition to Rogue One.
Yeah.
Well, they showed and when
Yeah.
you watch the recap of this episode, they showed that droid. I don't know if that was to be reminiscent of he's going back to that planet,
Yeah.
or that they're trying to.
He did go back.
He did go
But
back.
I guess
You
it
were
was
right.
an
I
Air.
thought it was like, I was like,
I guess it was an
God damn, he
Airbnb though.
Yeah, it was.
It was a space B&B.
So let's get into
No one's looking up
let's get
there.
into the questions, and it's not so much that I'm being critical,
Yeah,
but I just
yeah.
didn't follow a few things in
Yeah.
this one.
Fuck, I'm glad to hear that, dude.
Yeah. So first of all,
I don't know what the fuck's going
did
on.
he just sneak into that Airbnb Andor hotel room?
He's sneaky. He's Andor.
He just
guy
snuck
broke
in.
out of prison.
These
His
people are
confidence
sleeping
is
in the
at an
bed,
all-time
and he
high.
somehow broke in to get
At
his
first,
stuff?
did you guys think that his old girl was sleeping with
I
that?
did too. I was like, damn.
Was that not what it was?
No, it was,
No.
It was a couple.
It's two different. I think it's like they were just renting that room out. It
Yeah,
was either
it was
a
like
hotel
it's like a hotel. He probably
or
started.
a space B&B.
That didn't bother me. Him getting in didn't bother me as much as like, did no one check the top of this shower?
I don't even know that
I
it
don't-
bothered
he was
me. I
gonna-
just thought it was kind of interesting. And so he just was able to just roll up in this place. like,
Yeah,
Also,
he's got balls. I mean, hell,
He's
he just
sneaky. I mean, he did a heist. He broke out of prison. So I mean, think about his confidence
guess
in
you're
terms
right.
of.
Yeah, totally.
he's like, this is nothing compared
yeah.
to
What?
fucking,
Am I going to a hotel when they're sleeping?
I just broke out of
This is
prison with Smeagol.
nothing
I can get
compared
in
to
his hotel room.
the prison
I
break.
did the biggest heist in the
Yeah,
universe.
totally.
Broke out of prison, getting into a hotel
Yeah.
room to get like that. That didn't.
Yeah. I didn't. So that was fine. It wasn't like I didn't understand. It was like, oh, interesting.
I was more surprised that they were
I
still there.
couldn't. Maybe I need to watch it again
How many times have you seen it?
once.
Okay,
I watched it
did
once
watch
last
it
night.
twice. Still, yeah, it helps.
Yeah, I'd say
so
2.5.
the weird creatures that they encounter that they get
Yeah.
cut in the net,
2Z2.
I couldn't really understand them.
I always
No,
have subtitles
me
on.
neither.
Yes.
So I don't really know how they got released. Did they just say, "Oh, you're cool, you can take our ship"?
Okay,
Yeah,
no.
they weren't audible.
I had to use subtitles. They're
Okay.
saying, it's like, look, it's easier to catch you now because the Empire has destroyed our waters. It's like because of the prison, they talk about how they can't fish anymore because of the prison. They've destroyed their waters, and then they kind of explain. That was the one stretch. It was like, this is kind of a stretch. But they explained to them, no, we're escaping, and I think those two guys hated the Empire so much
Yeah.
that they're like, we'll help you. Let's get them.
That's what I gleaned. That it was
Yep.
some sort of like, look, we all hate the Empire here.
Yeah.
One was speaking in a language, and the one was like it broke in English. He was like, "Prisoners, 2Z2s."
Yeah.
Like it was very like
How amazing were those animatronics? though?
unbelievable.
Yeah. That
Jesus
was,
Christ.
Yeah.
I was a little stretched when they were like, "Take me to this planet," but I'm assuming A was close because they probably when they send them to prison, they're probably sending them to. They're not sending them across the galaxy to go to prison.
Wait, is that what they said? So those guys flew them away, or did they just give them their ship?
No, they flew them there.
Yeah, I think
I
they
didn't
dropped
pick
them
up
off.
any of that in that
Yeah.
conversation.
I think it was just like we hate we both hate the Empire.
right.
We hate the prison. If
Yeah.
you're prisoners, they're looking for you. We might as well just get you out.
Did you get
because-
all that from that conversation?
I mean, I had to make it up.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I had a very hard time figuring out
Yeah.
what they said. It was more like as if they were speaking like if you're in Mexico and you don't speak Spanish and you're trying
Yes.
to figure out a few things.
Right. Extrapolate.
Yeah.
We're
Context
just like,
clues.
well, we did get the tacos, so I think
Yeah.
I think we kind of did a
Yeah,
decent
we did
job.
it. We connected.
Carne asada is here, so I guess we're good.
Yeah. On a human level. On a human level, we made it. On an alien.
Yeah, I mean, again, I wasn't
Margarita.
mad. I wasn't like I didn't think the scene was bad. It
No,
was
they-
interesting.
yeah.
I just couldn't literally understand the words they were
Yeah.
saying.
Fishermen
That's all.
say since the prisons come, we can't fish here anymore because it's easier to catch people now than it is to catch fish because the prison has destroyed our waters.
Yeah.
Destroyed our entire
Right.
planet.
Yeah.
So it's like you hate the Empire, we hate the Empire.
I love seeing an alien.
So we're just
Yeah,
gonna.
I do. They were cool.
So it's like we hate the Empire. We will volunteer to be your free Uber service.
Well, I
to
think it was
any
just
planet?
like they hated the. Yeah, it was a little bit
that
of a
the-
stretch. Like, but
Is that the same quad jumper that ends up in?
I was gonna say it is a quad. Yeah.
Is that the same one? I need to like double
Yeah,
check.
that
Is
would
that the
be
same
cool to
one that
check.
ends? Because that dude, they talked kind of like that dealer on.
Yeah. In
Where was it planted that Ray's at? That kind of like
Oh, yeah,
Tatooine, but
Jakku.
isn't.
I'd say who I came to is yeah.
That's
Jakku?
kind of Jakku. Yeah, that's kind of Force Awakens. It's kind of like Force Awakens, or it's kind of like The New Hope, but it isn't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Interesting.
Jakku's kind of like a microcosm of that
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
movie. It's
The
like,
scene
it's
was
not
cool, don't get
Tatooine.
me wrong.
It's
promise.
not Tatooine, but hey, let's just name
The
it
scene was
different.
cool.
It's
I
not the
wasn't
Death Star,
mad at it.
but it's the Death Star.
I'm curious if that's the same quad jumper
Yeah.
to get off on a fucking actual tangent.
It's
Yeah.
an old one. That was a cool one.
I also thought. I guess this is going to sound like a complaint. I don't have a lot of those this season.
I have a few nitpicks,
It's a
but
small
not big
thing.
ones.
Did anyone think that it was just a little fast and rushed that the episode just started and the mother's already dead and
Yeah.
we're dealing funeral? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like, and I'm not saying I needed a scene where Andor shows up and there's a big long, but it felt like for at least one character, I could have had at least 2 or 3 minutes of her saying
she killed it. It's her,
I guess
she's-
mostly because you made the point last week about how poetic and really satisfying the writing is. I feel like they wasted an opportunity for her to say something really impactful about why the rebellion matters before she goes. I didn't necessarily need to see her pull a Yoda and do like a blah blah blah.
Yeah,
It's just
here-
some
no.
sort of moment.
It was kind of
where
a
we got
gut
to
punch. Like, well, I was
She's
just.
I mean, we all knew she was going to die, but the fact that the episode started and she's already gone
That's interesting.
seemed quick.
It's
to me.
interesting you say that because if there's anything about this episode, and you saying this actually made me realize it, there's a lot of off-camera stuff happening on this episode.
Yes.
There's a lot of like the rule in film is like show, don't tell.
Yep.
There's a
Yep.
lot of telling
Yeah.
and not
Not
showing in
showing.
this
Interesting.
episode.
Good point.
and it's
None of
been
it
kind the
really
opposite of that.
bums me out.
Yeah.
But you made me realize like, man, I'm a little lost. I'm not 100% sure what bank accounts? What? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another point I was going to bring up. We can just jump to that. I think I get it now.
I think I get it.
I don't think I need to know. The point is, Mothma moves a bunch of bunch of money around. That's one of her big contributions to the cause.
Yeah.
Now it's more difficult because the Empire's cracking down. I think that's enough to be fully engaged.
Yeah.
But you're right. If I was supposed to know before this episode exactly what was going on with it, I didn't until she sat down with Vel and basically broke it down. Which means that for all these episodes where she's talking to all these people, I more or less get the gist, but I couldn't have explained to you in detail what was going on.
Right.
I watch everything. Maybe it's because I have kids, but
That
I watch
probably
everything
helps.
with subtitles now.
Yeah.
Everything.
Oh, wow.
And that way because I can pick up on names. I have to say
That
it makes
probably-
a huge.
It
difference.
probably does.
Because I knew I was like she's $400,000 in the hole, and like she says, it was so much easier to move all this money money
Yeah.
before, and she moved $400,000, and then. The Empire not only has made it harder, they're checking on all of these huge transactions.
Are
So
her
she's like,
accounts
"I'm screwed."
frozen at this moment?
I don't think they're
so
they're
scared?
being looked into. She
Okay.
can't move any money, but they're looking into her money, and that's why that guy was coming
Yeah.
in to kind of like.
Yeah, she did a great job.
I mean, I knew the 400,000 number. I guess I just didn't,
didn't know
fully
shit.
understand
Yeah.
like what it was they were noticing. Like, are they just looking at, she's short 400,000 in her account. What's
it's
that
like,
about?
Well,
kind of a
where's
thing?
this money going? Where's
Yeah.
this money
Okay.
actually
Which-
going?
which-
It's easy to
whatever.
say, it's
Again-
for a charity, but when there's no charity, it's like, where did this $400,000 go
Yeah.
to, Mothma?
It's
Yeah.
the only. It's the only.
yeah, we're about to get
tiny-
shocked. Are these
You're
going to
about to
Bothan's,
get-
bitch?
Yeah, right.
Is this
Yeah.
Bothan money?
Yeah.
Funding
Is
that-
this fund
Is
the
this
Bothans?
funding that Bothan barbecue you were
Yeah.
talking about?
Goddamn
what's going
Bothan. Just throw those motherfuckers through the
Bothan
fire.
barbecue.
That's my favorite line from your Bothan barbecue.
Rogue 2, Bothan barbecue.
Rogue 2,
Oh
Bothan
my God.
barbecue. Follow
It
the
was
Bothans.
a weird, like, I also think because we were also kind of theorizing her big exit, like Andor's mother's exit. So we were expecting this sort of big, kind of just self, like, kind
of like
kamikaze type thing.
Yeah.
She was going
Yeah.
to go in, and we didn't. You're right. It was kind of robbed of that. But I wonder if there
Well,
was a
maybe it
scene
could
and
happen.
they just took it out.
It felt like
yeah.
maybe there was a scene
I feel
that
like
they
it was
took
missed.
out.
That's what I felt. I was like, I wonder if there was something more
It
to
felt
this.
like we just got dropped into a scene that had already like halfway through.
Yeah,
Is what it felt
and
like.
you nailed the prediction on the head where everything's gonna happen on Ferrix.
Yeah, well, I think that's
Even
why
with
we've
her
been
yeah?
checking back in with all the characters.
everyone now is going
It's
to
the
Ferrix.
only major
Karn,
plot line that
yeah,
hasn't
like-
blown up yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like location, I should
Now,
say.
do you guys think the fucking Andor's gonna actually be dumb enough
I
to
hope he's
turn
not.
up?
Well, he definitely has a scorn under his ass. So maybe he's gonna turn up to be like, I'm gonna blow that empire up.
I think he might. I think the
I
last
think he's
episode is
pissed.
going to be the Ferrix explosion, and I think
Yeah.
there's going to be a whole throwdown. We know your question last week. That shadowy guy is obviously
Yeah,
just an
he's the
Empire
Empire.
figure.
Yeah.
I think that all that shit's going to go down, and there's going to be a component of Vel, who's obviously on her way there, and what's her name? Her girlfriend,
Cinta.
Cinta. And I hope in this episode we get the resolution of why the fuck are y'all trying to kill me? I'm on the team now. Cool
Yep.
out.
Yeah,
and then
'cause
by the end of
Vel's-
this
yeah.
season, again, I think we all know the next season is 4 years, but it'd be nice to have some resolution of he's no longer being hunted even by the rebels. He's down for the cause.
Yeah.
We can all more or less be on the same
it's
team
about to
now.
get fucking nuts on Ferrix. Karn's heading.
Yeah. Well, the Karn thing
Vel's
seems
heading.
like this dude is a psycho.
Yeah, he's psychopath.
What
He's
is his
psychotic.
fucking
He wants to clear his
malfunction?
name, I think. He just wants to... His
But
mom...
he knows better. He's just going to get him in trouble.
I know, but
Yeah,
well, he
I'm
doesn't
a-
care. He's obviously psychotic.
I kind of feel for the son of a bitch. I don't know what's gonna happen to this dude. Man, this is a very dense fucking
Well,
episode.
yeah. Well,
Holy shit!
It was a good setup to a finale. There was some
True.
missing holes, but I find it was a slower episode when you compare it to others.
But we did get
But-
one action sequence.
I was going to
Yeah.
say, I'm saving that for my
Luthen's
last.
James. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No, that's
we'll
fine.
Save it. Well, no, we'll save it. But
It's just like one of the best moments of the whole series. So
Yeah.
far.
I don't.
Um,
he is the best. I think he's my favorite
Fuck.
character because the way he convinced Saw to see reason with where it's Tubes. He's my inside man and kind of like took his
So
gun.
smart.
It's like I want you to listen. See how you're panicking? See
Yeah.
how you're on edge now? You don't trust anybody? That's what we don't want the Empire to feel.
The writers are doing Skarsgård a big favor because his character is the most well written on the whole show.
He's
It's a combination of his phenomenal acting performance.
Yeah, he's
and
great.
and what they're giving him to work with.
giving him
It's
gold.
Every scene he's in, I'm hanging on every word. It's fascinating. It's really well done. It's really well done. That whole exchange with Saw, and let's just jump into it. I saw a TIE bomber. I saw TIE fighters. I saw what looked like the deck of sort of a Star Destroyer.
yeah, it looked kind of like a Clone War looking.
There were
type,
tractor beams.
Looked older.
It was like
That was
this
great.
is fucking vintage Star Wars
Yeah.
interaction, and I loved it. It felt
yeah,
like a million
the ships
bucks.
look fucking great. That dude's ship's great. It's fucking awesome.
It's fucking great. All
James
the little
Bond.
things.
It was like a James Bond car. He had
Yeah,
all the
He
does. It
gadgets and
is.
gizmos.
that shit where it hit all the satellites, so the
Uh-huh.
tractor beam
And the
went
sound
down.
design on that.
Oh,
Pop, pop,
man.
pop, pop, pop. It's fucking gorgeous.
Well, my thought was now
We got
they
to
have
see our
his voice on
TIE
it.
fighters again. Those guys inside.
That's
I
what
always
I'm
freak out
saying.
when I see a guy inside of a TIE fighter.
The sound of a TIE fighter is probably the best one. Of the
Yeah,
best
and we were
sounds.
all
yeah.
very young when we first saw
I
that.
know. It's
That-
ingrained, man.
It's ingrained.
It
But
really
But I
is.
remember Karn saying I would recognize the buyer's voice. That was so. Now they'll have this ship. They'll probably investigate what the hell is this ship, and they'll have his voice on log. But who knows? That's the thing. I'm still theorizing, but it looks like everything's going to Ferrix.
Yeah.
Everybody's showing up there, and it's gonna be one big party.
So do we think Luthen's going to show up there himself?
I don't know. Maybe.
I'm confused about the buyer,
Well, I know.
to be honest.
What do you mean? In which way?
Wait, they're
that is Luthen. Luthen is the buyer.
Is the buyer.
okay.
Yeah,
That's
what
the
they mean.
Empire knows him as the buyer. That's his code.
They
name.
don't, that's the whole thing. So that scene where
Yeah.
they were asking Bix, who's now clearly all kinds of traumatized, and they were like, "Is this the one person you introduced to Andor?" They don't. They just know that the Luthen person exists
Okay.
in the world. They don't know who it is, and they're desperate to identify.
Is Luthen also? Is Luthen a person we just haven't seen yet?
No, Luthen is
No, I mean no. The other guy, Krieger.
Krieger.
Well, yeah, we've never seen him in
And-
person. We saw
no,
the
saw the
hologram that they
hologram.
showed.
Could
Yeah.
Luthen be Krieger? No.
No.
No, I
Because
think.
they're maybe going to give him.
Well,
up.
I think that's what happened when he and Saul finally figured out their shit. Is all right. We are in agreement. We're gonna sadly sacrifice him and those 30 dudes in the greater good, because that whole
Yep.
thing, like,
Where the
let's
fuck
call
is
it
Krieger?
war. Which,
Do
by
we
the
know?
way, fucking
Well, that was actually. I just thought you just said. I was like, well, it could be. He always goes into these characters. We've never actually seen Krieger.
I just had the thought in confusion.
Yeah.
That,
I mean,
like,
it's
maybe
possible.
he's like
And the way Bix reacted,
not real.
like if you don't tell the truth here, we'll bring in the doctor again. Is this the buyer? And they showed the hologram of Krieger, and she kind of, I don't know if it's just because she's fried or because she knows something more.
Yeah, exactly.
But that is, I didn't even think about
Maybe
that.
he's
until-
not real and he's using him to figure out
Yep.
people.
Well,
Maybe
she knows
Krieger
who-
is not. Yeah.
She knows Luthen is the buyer. She's seen
Yes.
Luthen.
No. But
Maybe
when she
Krieger
showed her
is
a
it.
picture of Krieger.
Yeah.
Is like, this is Antoine Krieger. Like, I didn't even. It could be a stretch, but maybe Krieger doesn't exist. Maybe Luthen created this character.
Yeah, maybe.
But I don't know.
Anything's possible, which is fun. But I
Anything's
also
possible.
think the way that scene with Saul played out, I think the emotional impact is such that they recognize that sacrificing this person in their team
Yeah, it does make it bigger.
carries weight.
Yes.
And
No, I get it.
and I think that if it's just like I don't think he would have played out that scene, nor would it have as much impact if he was secretly like, well, there's no actual Krieger.
guess what,
you
buddy?
The
know?
only
Yeah,
thing
that's
is
true.
like we haven't seen him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that we haven't seen him because we don't need to. I think that hologram is actually him. I
Yeah.
think that he'll die. And
That's
it's
true.
like they kept it that way because they're streamlining. Like,
Yeah.
they're-
They
I mean,
had to
think about it.
streamline something.
There's a lot of stories in this season.
Yeah,
And if we
there
had to
is.
like start watching Krieger interact with people, that's a whole additional thing.
Yeah.
And this way he can just be this thing that's The only thing we need to know about Krieger is that he's a big figure and they're sacrificing him for the greater good.
Yeah,
Poor
that's
son
true.
of a bitch.
Call it war.
Yeah.
I wonder if his
Call it war.
buddies
It's a
call
great
him
fucking
Krieg.
line,
Right,
and
yeah.
Forrest crushed it on that.
I do
Whittaker
get excited
rules.
about but that's the fun thing about this show, and that's how you know it's a good show when you start theorizing
Yeah.
potential outcomes.
Theories. I love
it's
theories.
fun. It's like, well, what if this happens?
Star
What
Wars
if this
theory.
happens? And so it is fun. But I have a feeling we're getting set up for a pretty big finale.
I
here.
kind of
Oh,
hope
yeah.
we do. I hope everyone coalesces around this moment and that Andor's a good guy and they stop fucking hunting his ass. That's my big hope for the end of this series, is that through line gets resolved. Clearly the story's not over because everybody knows that. But I think it would be nice to start season 2 with Andor's now a rebel. They're not trying to kill him. He's part of the team. We can deal with what happens with Bix and whatever else in the future. But for now, he's not being hunted by literally everybody in the galaxy, the good guys and the bad guys.
Well, he was
Yeah.
pissed. That last scene of him and I don't know the guy's name, but he's also in Rogue One.
Yeah,
He was
right.
like, people need to know about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I think that was the moment, right?
yeah,
that
I
was
think for me that was because you could see he was like sad, but I think pissed because in his mind he was probably like, "This is also the Empire's fault."
we knew in the second episode that the turning point for him was losing the mother figure.
Yeah.
When that happened,
Yeah.
on top of whatever we knew he was eventually going to go through, that was, and I think that scene, that last shot of his face,
Yep.
was the beginning of the fuck these people.
Yeah.
Now I have a purpose.
And I got credits. I got my credits
Yeah.
back. I got
Let's get
burn
after
my
these.
ass.
This
Let's-
is my new mission in life.
It's so smart to
fuck
have
with
the
these
funeral.
people.
That's like some FBI shit, dude.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they'd be like the mob. Like
Totally.
a dude dies and be like, let's just see who the fuck shows
Yeah,
up at
that's
this
like
thing.
Yeah.
20%
I
of
really
every
hope-
Sopranos season is set with the FBI
Really?
showing up at the cemetery and talking to somebody at a cemetery.
That's a great show that I need to rewatch
Yeah.
as like more of an older,
Oh, it's genius.
wiser person.
V had never seen it, so we watched it from top to bottom during the pandemic. It's worth. We're talking about The Sopranos in case anyone didn't catch that. It's still.
This is the fucking
It's
Star
still
Wars.
top three
This
of
is
all
the
time.
Star Wars Sopranos shit.
I agree.
I've never actually watched Sopranos. I have to admit it.
Holy fucking
Yeah.
shit!
I've seen a couple episodes, but it's one of those shows where I know
I'll
I need
watch
to
it with you, dude.
Yeah,
It'll
I need
be
to
interesting
watch it.
because I know how much you love Mad Men. It's a similar.
I've never
brain.
seen Mad Men.
Oh, you'd love it.
Have you seen it?
I haven't
Paul?
finished it, but I've watched almost all of it.
It's great.
I got distracted. It wasn't like I stopped liking it. It was one of those like life moments I couldn't keep watching it.
No.
And the problem is it went so long that I knew that I needed to start over.
Yeah.
I wanted to be
There was
fresh.
some weird. There's always some weird parts in any show, but it was one of those shows where the
Sopranos-
finale was so good in Mad Men. Like I said, I hated the Breaking Bad finale. I think it kind of
Sopranos is going to blow your fucking
That's
mind.
great that
It's
we're-
all about the finish. How do you
That's
finish
cool
it?
that we can
How's the
talk about
landing?
this show in the same way that
Yeah,
those shows
totally.
are talked
You're
It's
about.
a
right.
Star Wars show that is as highest as
Yeah.
in high esteem.
I can't even talk about Mando in those circles.
Yeah, no. Agreed.
Honestly, and Mando's my favorite.
Well,
personally.
Mando's back in that sort of Sunday morning or Saturday morning serial,
yeah.
like Flash Gordon.
It is.
kind of like
but done very well.
Yeah,
and
graphic
that's why I
novel,
love
comic.
it. It's just a 30-minute funness.
Yeah.
Totally. And it's
fun
great.
to have.
And
this
Grogu's the
flavor,
boy.
Like you say, in this
Grogu's the
Star Wars
man.
world.
I hope Grogu and that droid get to party. Wait,
yeah.
where the fuck? Who cares?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Wait, so-
what else we got?
So I was
What
thinking,
else we got?
so it's all going to go down on Ferrix. I feel like, I just really need Mon Mothma to get the fuck out of Coruscant. Not only
Yeah.
do I'm invested emotionally in her character.
Yeah.
It's starting to get to a point now though
She
where
needs
it's
to get-
starting to not make sense from a story standpoint why she's still there.
Well,
Yeah,
it looks
plus-
like she has a way out with that homeboy because her daughter loves their culture so much that she probably would get married to that.
So she's going to take the deal and marry off her daughter, basically.
I think she's going to marry because
I
her
just-
daughter. They're trying to convince you, like, oh, the daughter likes this. She wants this tradition, so she.
I want her to get away from that fucking. I want her to tell her daughter.
I want 'em all to
her
show up
bullshit daughter and her bullshit husband to fuck off.
Yeah.
Her kid sucks.
Yeah.
That kid fucking sucks.
That sucks.
Get that kid out of here.
Yeah.
Plus, she gets to go to that kick-ass base on
what I'm saying.
Yavin
Go to
5.
fucking
That's why
Yavin.
I'm
V.
hoping it all ends on Yavin.
And you know
like
that
they-
little bitch
I
is
know
not
a
gonna.
spot.
That
I
little
love that-
fucking
that
brat
base.
ain't going to Yavin.
Yeah.
She's gonna bitch about all the things she doesn't have, and her fucking prissy ass husband ain't going there either. So
Yeah.
No,
ditch
I'm
these
pretty
fucking
boy.
idiots and get to Yavin with Andor.
Yeah, that husband's gonna just
Dude,
like.
do you think
he's
Andor
just gonna
and
wait
Mon
it out.
Mothma? I mean, why not, right?
Oh, shit, follow your dreams.
Follow your dreams.
Yeah,
That'd make a good-looking baby.
Mothma
They make a
is
great
just too good of a person to look the other way, and those other two dickweeds are like, yeah,
They don't
whatever.
care. Living the
Amen.
posh life.
Exactly right. They just
Living
want all the
good.
rich people shit. So that's got to get wrapped up. I guess for me, the whole Luthen exchange with the TIE fighters and the whole thing.
That was fucking great.
It was like that was the first moment in this series where I felt like I had vintage Star Wars fun feelings. Like, I love everything about it, don't get me wrong, but it's kind of like a new, different flavor that I'm really enjoying.
Every once in a while, you
That
get
moment
reminded
was like,
that, oh shit, this is a
shit.
Star Wars show.
Exactly. Nailed it.
I feel like it's gonna be. I'm hoping we're gonna get a lot of that in the next episode because it's gonna get crazy.
Yeah, dude.
I have a feeling it's gonna get.
It
nuts.
will.
Blow some shit up.
Yeah,
Man, they're
it's gonna
really
be-
good at making those CG ships now.
I know.
They
I had
look
that
tactile.
thought.
That kind of
do.
started with Rogue One because
Yeah.
like they made those Star Destroyers look like the models, and I think that was smart because they're like, let's not do it as good as we can. Let's make them look like they did in New Hope.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they do.
Or-
yeah,
And they do. Not that the New Hope, they look fucking amazing.
Yeah,
How'd they even
great.
do that in 1970s?
I don't know. It's crazy.
That
Detail.
opening shot, dude, if you look at it on a big 4K screen, it's fucking
it's
amazing.
all about that.
know.
Like, watching that, it's like it's all about that opening shot. If you
That
don't
painting?
land this opening shot, then you're out of it.
Ralph
Yep.
McQuarrie did the background as a painting, and it's
Yeah.
like, it doesn't read as a painting.
I know.
Oh, I remember when I think it was Lucas's wife was like, the windows are too big. He's like,
Fucking Marsha Lucas over there. Marsha Lucas is a thorn in the side. I'm sure she was awesome, but didn't she run off with fucking? Didn't she run off with George Lucas's Carpenter?
oh, I hope so.
She did. Wait, she did?
I believe there was like when he was like got all that money and he was like, I'm gonna expand this place out and make ILM out here, and I think they were like redoing a library. You know, I can. Fucking George's probably not the life of the party.
No.
And I can relate, man. I'm boring too.
I would disagree with
Curtis,
He'd be
you're
like
the
one of those
least boring
guys.
person I know.
I feel
Dude,
like George would be
you
like
see
one,
me when we're working and out having fun.
he's one of those guys you go to a party and he's got a lot of opinions on something. When you try to like agree or have it, it's like, well, yeah, but no, actually, you can't do it that
he's
way
100%
because
a well actually
yeah,
guy.
yeah. Well, no, it's like I'm
Well,
just trying to
actually,
connect with you,
yeah.
buddy.
Yeah. That like nerdy know-it-all
Oh
thing.
yeah, well he came into the volume. It's like, yeah, I came up with this 30 years ago. Like it's like, no, yeah, I
He's
love
just
you,
like,
buddy.
yeah, it's
But
about
no, you
time,
didn't.
asshole.
You ruined. I
love
almost
you.
ruined Star Wars.
I love you, buddy, but no, you didn't.
He's an
That's the
idea
right
guy.
part.
He has like really amazing idea. He's just like, but everyone does. It's just he just happens to be a billionaire.
Yeah.
So like every cool idea he has, he can actually like make happen.
Well,
Yeah.
it's like a little
He
bit of
knows
what's
the right
going on
people.
with fuckhead Elon Musk these days. He's
Dude.
got all the
Dude.
money, so now and everyone's told
Yeah.
him he's smart, so he thinks he can solve every problem in
I
the
am
world.
smart. Let me go into Twitter.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Twitter's burning
also,
and
like,
down in flames.
Did you see that email he sent to everybody?
Yes.
Thing like, hey, yeah, we're going on
Yeah.
crazy, but it's like it's all
Paul, you
connected.
nailed it. He's like a
Universe-
tech person, not a
Yeah,
communication
he just
person.
needs to make.
And now he owns a communication company.
I know. Cars and rockets, not people.
Yeah, like it's amazing that those rockets can land themselves.
Yeah, but he's not.
But
building
like,
them.
dude,
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe
just
you
a
shouldn't be fucking dealing with
taskmaster.
community. Like,
yeah, he's not building those
Clearly,
rockets.
what is it? Interpersonal relationships are not his strong suit.
right? Yeah, it's like no one should hire me as their accountant. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I
totally.
mean? Like I could totally like get you a music video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to do your taxes. Though.
Anyway, it rules. We're super pumped. Finale
What
next
else?
week, y'all. It's the
Anything-
fucking finale. What
any-
else you got? Did you have
I-
anything on your notes that we didn't touch on?
No, this is a sad, kind of a sad. It's our last
Yeah.
in-house episode with Paul here.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do some revisions to the Vulture,
Yep.
but and it'll be a cooler transmission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
Series finale will be a nice new look for some of the Scoundrels stuff. It'll also be a hint of what's coming in the future. We
Yeah.
are sadly no longer going to be always in the Vulture together.
Sometimes.
Sometimes
we will.
We'll
Don't get me
in
wrong.
here.
There'll be plenty
Yeah.
of we'll be in the Vulture plenty of times, but we'll also be doing some. We're like the fucking rebels. Some of us
Yeah.
got to be stationed over here, some
get
over
over there on
whatever
that
the
plane.
fuck.
Well,
Get
and
away.
sometimes we will be in the Vulture. We're just gonna like the inside of it's gonna like we're gonna get some like a different couch and shit.
Yeah.
We'll make
Yeah.
it look good, but we love you,
Curtis
buddy.
has got some new special modifications.
Yeah, we're gonna mod
he's got
this
up his
bad
Always
sleeve.
boy
modding
out.
it up.
And then
I'm
some of
feeling
us
good.
are gonna go off on like special missions
Hell
and
yeah.
shit,
You gotta
while
get
the
out
others
there.
are in the Vulture.
You got to spread the word. Well, I'm
Spread the
excited for the
seed.
finale. I think they set it up nicely
Yep.
for one big, and I have confidence they'll wrap it up nicely.
Oh
Yeah.
man, yeah.
I think they're gonna.
Yeah, I'm not
I don't
worried.
think they're gonna leave us with a cliffhanger. I don't think they're
Well,
gonna.
even
do
if
that.
there is a cliffhanger, that's not the end of the world because we always knew this was going to be a
Some
two-season
sort of
story.
hangers of clip. But
You
dude,
need a little clip where you're excited, but I hate when it's like so much of a cliffhanger where it's like, okay,
We'll get
This
some
isn't a
resolution.
soap opera.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it's
um,
clearly going to because we can see the pieces coming
like
together.
you don't love the way they ended the
Yeah.
the
I think-
dragon show.
no, it was too much of a cliffhanger. But I think all these characters coming together, it's gonna wrap up nicely.
Hell yeah.
Can't wait.
Let's get after it, Curtis. Punch it.